The night Emily Foster was thrown out of her parents' house, everything she owned fit into one backpack and an old duffel bag. Her father didn't yell. He didn't have to. He simply placed 3 crisp $100 bills on the kitchen counter, took $20 back for the phone plan he claimed she still owed, and slid the remaining cash toward her. $280. His voice was cold. That's enough to get started. Emily stared at the money. I'm your daughter. Her mother folded her arms. You're 21. It's time to stop depending on us. Emily swallowed hard. I've been paying rent since I turned 18. Her father shrugged. And now you're paying it somewhere else. The argument had started because Emily refused to quit nursing school to work full-time in her uncle's business. Her parents insisted the family business came first. Emily believed her education did. That disagreement had become the final straw. Her younger brother, Mason, leaned silently against the hallway wall. He looked like he wanted to say something. Instead, he lowered his head. Emily picked up the money without another word. She hugged her grandmother's old quilt, slung the backpack over one shoulder, and walked out into the cold autumn night. No one followed her. No one asked where she would sleep. She spent the first night in a budget motel. The room cost almost half of what she had left. Lying awake, she stared at the cracked ceiling and promised herself one thing. I'll never beg to come back. The next morning she found a room to rent from an elderly widow named Mrs. Alvarez. The rent was cheap because Emily agreed to help with groceries, yard work, and doctor's appointments. Mrs. Alvarez became more than a landlord. She became family. Emily finished nursing school by working overnight shifts at a diner and studying between customers. There were weeks when she survived on instant noodles and peanut butter sandwiches. But she never quit. Years passed. She graduated near the top of her class. Accepted a position in the emergency department of a major hospital. Later, she specialized in trauma nursing. She built a quiet, stable life. She rarely heard from her parents. Birthdays came and went. So did holidays. Sometimes Mason sent a short text. I'm sorry. Emily always replied. It's not your fault. Then one rainy Thursday evening, 7 years after she had walked out with $280, Emily finished a 12-hour shift and collapsed onto her couch. Her phone had been on silent all day. When she finally unlocked it, the screen froze. 27 new voicemails. Every single one was from her father. Emily frowned. Her father hadn't called her once in nearly 5 years. Now there were 27 messages. Her heart began to race. She pressed play on the first voicemail. Static. Then her father's voice. Emily. He sounded frightened. I know I don't deserve to ask this. The message cut off. She opened the second voicemail. Please call me. The third. It's about your mother. The fourth. We've made a terrible mistake. By the 10th voicemail, he was crying. By the 15th, he was begging. By the 27th, his voice barely rose above a whisper. They said you're the only one who can save her. Emily sat perfectly still. Her mother? Save her. She looked toward the hospital badge still clipped to her jacket. Then back at the phone. A text message arrived from an unknown number. This is Memorial Regional Hospital. Please contact us regarding your mother, Patricia Foster, as soon as possible. Emily's hands trembled. Before she could decide what to do, her phone rang again. This time, it wasn't her father. It was the hospital's chief of surgery. Emily answered on the second ring. This is Emily. A calm voice replied. Miss Foster, this is Dr. Jonathan Reeves, chief of surgery at Memorial Regional. Emily stood up immediately. Is my mother alive? Yes. But she's in critical condition. Emily closed her eyes. What happened? She suffered a ruptured abdominal aneurysm. The emergency surgery was successful, but there are complications. Emily took a slow breath. My father said I'm the only one who can help. Dr. Reeves paused. Not because you're family. Because you're one of the most experienced trauma nurses in the state. Emily frowned. I don't understand. Your mother has developed a rare postoperative complication. Our ICU team recognized your name after reviewing your published research on this exact condition. Emily was speechless. 2 years earlier, she had helped develop a new postoperative monitoring protocol that dramatically reduced mortality rates. She had never imagined it would one day involve her own family. We are asking if you'd be willing to consult with the care team. Emily looked out the window into the rain. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then she quietly replied, I'm on my way. An hour later, she walked into Memorial Regional Hospital. Her father stood outside the intensive care unit. The moment he saw her, he broke down. I'm so sorry. Emily looked at the man who had once handed her $280 and closed the front door behind her. He suddenly looked much older. I know. Her father wiped away tears. I don't expect forgiveness. I know. His voice cracked. I didn't know who else to call. Emily answered honestly. You spent years making sure I believed you never would. He lowered his head. I know. Inside the ICU, doctors gathered around Patricia's chart. When Emily entered, every physician greeted her professionally. One of the residents whispered, That's Emily Foster. Another nodded. She wrote the protocol we're using. Her father heard every word. For the first time, he realized the daughter he had dismissed had become someone respected by an entire hospital. Emily reviewed the chart carefully. She wasn't there as Patricia's daughter. She was there as a medical professional. After discussing options with the surgical team, she suggested a modification to the treatment plan based on the latest evidence. The attending physician nodded. Let's do it. Over the next 48 hours, Patricia slowly stabilized. By the end of the week, she was awake. Weak. But alive. When Patricia finally saw Emily standing beside her bed, tears streamed down her face. You came. Emily nodded. Yes. After everything we did? Emily pulled up a chair. I came because someone needed help. Silence filled the room. Her mother reached for her hand. I don't deserve this. Emily gently squeezed it. This isn't about deserving. It's about choosing the kind of person I want to be. A week later, Patricia was discharged. Before leaving the hospital, Emily's father handed her a small envelope. I know this doesn't fix anything. Inside was the same amount of money he had given her 7 years earlier. $280. Except this time, there was a note. This was never enough, not for starting over, and certainly not for what we took from you. I can't repay those years, but I can finally admit how wrong I was. Emily looked at the bills for a long moment. Then she folded the note and handed the cash back. Keep it. Her father looked confused. Why? Emily smiled gently. Because I stopped measuring my worth by what you gave me a long time ago. Months later, Emily received another call. Not from the hospital. From Mason. Mom and Dad are volunteering at the homeless shelter now. Emily smiled. They said meeting families with nowhere to go reminded them of the night they sent you away. She was quiet for a moment. I hope they've changed. I think they have. That Thanksgiving, Emily accepted an invitation to dinner for the first time in years. When she arrived, there was a small framed receipt sitting in the center of the table. It read, $280. Below it was a handwritten sentence. The cheapest mistake we ever made became the most expensive lesson of our lives. No one tried to erase the past. No one pretended the hurt had never happened. Instead, they acknowledged it. And sometimes, that's where healing truly begins. As dinner ended, Emily looked around the table. This time, no one was asking her to prove her worth. Because the woman they had once sent away with $280 had already proven something far more valuable. A person's future is never limited by the amount they leave home with. It's shaped by the courage they carry with them after they walk out the door.